the biggest challenge is that there is, in a way, sort of a clash in universities. And that is that on the one hand, people who work there, the researchers, want to be good in terms of their own scientific environment, and often that's an international environment. At the same time, there's a lot of pressure on the universities coming from government, national governments, and also the European government to be relevant for all kinds of societal challenges. And these two reward systems, if you like, they are clashing with each other, I think. It depends on what you want to do. If you want to be very competitive in, let's say, the international scientific community, for certain fields, a system like that can work. But if you want your research to have an impact on society and society's problems, then I think a system like that is dangerous even, because I think you need a much more qualitative approach. Well, I think that I don't particularly like mandatory things, but on the other hand, I think if you spend so much taxpayers' money on research, there should be some kind of national system. I think every system at some point needs to be renewed, because whatever you think of, people learn to play the system, so to say.
But I think one of the difficulties is that we end up in a discussion within which different people are talking at cross purposes about why we do research assessment in the first place. Is it just about a mechanism for allocating funding, a sort of narrow, singular purpose, in which case the way we do it could be streamlined and made simpler? Is it about allocation of funding, but also about providing an accountability mechanism linking public investment to public and political accountability? Is it about benchmarking, both at the institutional and at the departmental level? If it has those multiple purposes, then you have a slightly different approach to assessment. And then you get into these broader aspects. Is it also about changing research cultures and behaviours, encouraging impact, supporting open access? If those are important, and research assessment is one of the tools through which you're advancing those changes, then again you have a different approach. And finally, is it being used as a form of management, as a sort of proxy management framework for research in institutions? And it's that last purpose that I think often gives rise to some of the sharpest and most heated debates and controversies around research assessment. People feel that management is being done to them in the name of an assessment exercise, and managers are rather conveniently using the exercise as an excuse, as a scapegoat, if you like, for approaches to management that they would want to adopt anyway, but can do under the rubric of the assessment exercise. So I think we need to disentangle these debates, be more explicit about what is being discussed, what's actually at stake. And on the management point, I think managers in universities need to be braver in a way to speak up for the role of responsible, appropriate management cultures, because good management matters. We're in the 30th year here in the UK of operating under our research assessment system. We had in 1986 the first cycle, and it's happened every 5 or 6 years since, most recently in 2014 in the form of the now Research Excellence Framework, the REF as it's become known here. There's a lot of debate about that framework across the British research system, across universities. Many people complain about aspects of it, but I think it's hard not to see it having played a significant role in contributing to improvements in both productivity and quality across the UK system over the last 25, 30 years. An appreciation of diversity in research systems, which I think is a very important design principle in the way we think about research assessment. So systems that support, measure, reward, incentivize the full range of different disciplines, different research types and modes, and different researcher career paths.
So I think the characteristics designed to improve the quality of research assessment are working out what are you trying to achieve. Is it greater quality across the board? I think so. So therefore it all flows from there. So understanding your country, understanding the way research is performed, and then measuring it. I think research assessment should be voluntary. The reason is that you get greater engagement. And if you set up how you're going to measure correctly, you will have everybody who wants to be involved, because it actually gives them rewards for being involved, their reputation. If you make it mandatory, you would always have people thinking, we have to do it. With voluntary, it's we want to do it, and you get good outcomes, but you have to measure it properly. The positive effects that our assessment of research quality has had is we have driven greater performance in our research sector. We have much higher quality research outputs, and we have people who really want to do well and make sure that it's actually understood what they do and how they do it and how it improves Australia. We looked at how was everybody else thinking about it, and then saying what works for Australia, because every country is different. You must make it work for your country. I don't think there are major negative effects of measuring the quality of research in Australia. We've seen quite profound effects. It does cost money, so it does cost to assess it, but what we have got in as outcomes far exceeds the cost that it has involved.